Have you ever stopped to think that maybe the biggest mystery of his hand, not in rows, but they make a in his mind? Because here's the thing, is chilling to the bone, that two people can look at the same old you, the same M, the same as waxing crescent, in and out of destinations, completely different, not because of the lines that have changed, but because the belief has changed the way we act, the agency, and to see opportunities. And now, in this documentary, we are going to come to a country where the tradition, history, religion, psychology, and symbolism blending. And in the end, you'll understand why we have these signals have gained so much of fame and how to use it to your advantage, with both feet on the ground and the head is pointed. Before we get started, I need to make one thing clear. It's the video of me turns around. If you have an M, the letter M, on your palm, 8 things are going to happen in 2025, with a footprint in the forecast and the promise of a turn of life. But here, we are going to make a difference, a lot more powerful and with the ideas of the new. At the time to provide you with a list of what's going to happen, I'm going to show you how can this kind of storytelling is born, why it works so well, and each symbol represents different cultures and how to transform it into a practical roadmap for real change, without having to rely on the power to make important decisions. Breathe in.
Look at his hand for a moment. And it comes to me. Why do we want so much that it's hand to tell your story? There is a truth that no one wants to admit, that life is a bit chaotic. The us plans to strive, it promises to himself that it will. And then, suddenly, something else comes along that changes everything. An opportunity, a loss, a change in the city, is a person who enters into his life, and a door that closes. And when the world is like an unpredictable, the human person is the one who has always done since the beginning of time, looking for patterns. The people are looking for direction, in the sky, in the wind, in the dream, and in the number of repeats at the clock on the song that is played just in time. And of course, in your own skin. Because of the hand, this is close. It's always with you. It is where you are safe, secure, protect, build, point, pull, hold him. On the hand, it looks like a sort of map of the staff. And there is a palmistry reading, symbolic of the labor wind's power. But the most important thing there is, if it's true or not, within the meaning of the magician. The most important of these are, if you believe that there is a sign on you, you start to act like someone else that carries the destiny. And to act like anyone who carries a destiny, a game changer. You start to pay more attention to it. Do you make decisions with courage? You play the role of words as confirmation. You create the narrative.
And storytelling is a powerful tool. You can get it up for you, can you deal with, it can trip you up, it can save you. Today, you are going to learn the narrative in the right way. Where you came from, the reading of the hand. When you think about it in the hand, the image that comes to it through the film, the person holding it in your palm and saying, you're going to be rich, you're going to trip, you're going to love you twice. It's just that it's the end of the story, the version of the pop. The real version is much more ancient and far more astounding. The readout of the hands appears in various traditions and periods. It's spread to different regions. What has changed is the reason why. In some places, it was a way of getting temperament. And on the other, it was a way to read the symbolism in the spiritual, as if the hand were to be a mirror image of the internal resources. In the other, turned out to be the entertainment with a mixture of curiosity and entertainment. And that it sticks as well in the minds of human beings, because of the hand lines, curves, clumps, and crossovers. And all of this will permit the thing is that in the brain, love, roll. You will get to see it in a letter, a symbol, one-line drawing. A signal is rarely the case, a mark. And your brain will fill in the rest of the rules, which he rounds up the constellations in the sky. This does not mean that it is a lie.
This means that it is a human being. And now we get into the heart of the we want to talk about. The M and the M. Why is the crescent moon is as powerful as it is? The waxing moon is not just a drawing, it's cute. It is one of the symbols of the most ancient of mankind. It stands for complete, because it grows, it turns into a full mingua, and again, changes, time, rate, mystery, intuition, night, what you feel but can't explain it. And you see it hit hard with the way that we do. There are days where you wake up and you feel it's going to happen, even without any proof. There are times when you just know that that choice is okay and the wrong or right. It has phases that you change on the inside before they get to switch out. The waxing gibbous moon, in this context, it has become a kind of a flag, visible. So it's emotions, instincts, feeling, perception. So when someone tells you if you have a crescent moon in her hand, the message is hidden. It's not only do you have a symbol, it is do you have something inside of you that perceives the world in a different way. And that's a powerful statement, especially for those who feel ordinary, lost, or ignored. If you have the M is in the palm of your hand, he says here at the bottom, it says if you feel that perceives the world in a whole new way. What is this symbol of promise? And he had a fever. Now let's talk about the famous M.
A lot of people look at the palm and try to find the letter that is formed by cross lines on top.
and the internet made it a phenomenon. If you've got the M, you're special. If you have the M, too, you will be successful. If you have an M, you have to lead. And why did it explode so much? Because of the M is a simple one. You will be able to. It is a symbol that looks like a subscription. What's more, the letter M carries a number of cultural associations. Without even realizing it, the mind is, wow, M, money, money, M, mastery, tested, M, mission, quest, M, hour, mystery. That is, when you see the M, you don't just look at the letter. You will see a bundle of ideas and are ready. And then there's the promise of it is overwhelming. Maybe I should have been born with something that's rare. Only here's the plot twist. The M is not as rare as you say. And it doesn't take away the power of the symbol. It only changes the game. Instead of being a seal of fate, it becomes a trigger for self-knowledge. And now, some of the more stunning. The trick is the oldest in the world. What do you mean, forecasts? Stick to that. Let's do a thought experiment is fast. If I were to say like this is the year you are going to go through changes. It will make the tough decisions. You will enjoy new opportunities. And you will feel the urge to start over again. And it will need to be taken care of more.
Is it a specific or it serves for almost the whole of the world? It serves for almost the whole of the world. And yet, most of the people listening to this and you're like, oh my God, it's me. It got its name and it's not magic. This is the psychology. The brain has a number of mechanisms, which are predictions. Generals seem to be personal, especially when if you're living in a phase of doubt. Do you really believe that? Do you have a plan? You're looking for a confirmation. You're looking for a change. So what are you going to do? Here's a different one. At the time to give you 8, the events that are to come, I'm going to give you 4 faces that you can make, inspired by the symbolism of the moon and the M, but with actions and choices are real. That is, you come out of a documentary with the feeling that a lot of people will never have the following. Check the meaning of the moon cycle, and the M is the mission. So 2026 was the year of the map. But the truth is that it's never on the year in the calendar year in which you decide to turn around. So here's our new proposal for the documentary. The theory of the map. Mind, action, purpose, the environment. 4 layers of life changing, and they fit perfectly with the symbolism of the moon and the M. Because of the moon's rhythm, it reminds us that change happens in stages. The M is the design. It reminds us that success happens on the other paths. Now yes, the 8 face, that's a totally different way. The 8 is turned over to those who see the signs in my hand. Phase 1, the turn of our minds. You have to ask for the dial tone and start asking clarity. That looks dangerous. When the us becomes a hostage of the signal, we're outsourcing your life. That person is like this. If I have to go in the universe, I'll show you. If I get it right, it will happen to you. If you have the icon, so it's not guaranteed. And then, if they don't realize that they're putting the steering wheel, the first phase is the simple and brutal. Do not ask for a sign, ask for clarity. Clearly it is, what do I want? The clarity is this, what am up to pay the price? The clarity is this, what am avoiding because of fear? Clearly it is, if you continue the same for more than 12 months, and I can take, and here comes the moon. The waxing moon is not the sure, she is a feeling. Use this to your advantage when you feel something is a strong. Instead of saying is, ask the following questions. This is an intuition or anxiety. This is a wish or lack of. It's a pony or impulsivity. The impact of this turn is that you become someone who doesn't look for the magic behind awareness. This guidance changes the destination. Turning, the turn of the action. You replace the promise of the big to small test. You know the one that kills the most people. The promise is great. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to become a millionaire. I'm going to turn the other person. Now go. Only you promise a large comfortable because it requires no proof. Is immediate. The action of the small demand. The second phase is this. If you want to live in a great, try out some of the small every day. The rule of thumb is a proof per day. A message to you rolled up to send. A curriculum that is sent to you. A workout short. In a study of 20 minutes. A no said respectfully. A limit is placed upon it. The M here, it comes in as a mastery. The domain is built up by repetition. Have you not seen the special because it has a logo? Have you seen, especially as it builds the skill? The difference is that the script for each other that you don't end up waiting for the 8 events that fall from the sky. You will create an 8 evidence with his bare hands. Phase 3, the turn of purpose you to pursue a passion and begins to pursue in the direction of. Have a lie of the art wrapping a lot of people. Find your passion and everything will just make sense. Just passion? It's in an unstable state. Passion for change, no direction. The direction is, what do I want to build on over the next 3 years? The direction is, what kind of problem I have to solve? The direction is, what kind of life I'm up for a living? The third phase is, don't look for passion.
Look up direction. The crescent moon reminds you that you need to have the whole map. You will need to do the next piece of lighting, and do you know what it is? And the higher the shock. A lot of people latch onto because you want to get total certainty. But the only guarantee is given, and after that, you go down. If you have the letter M and the moon in the palm of your hand,
And you comment on here if you're really willing to give up, to wait for the one called perfect, and then get to build, step by step, in the direction of the life you want to live in. Turn 4 in. At the turn of the environment, you should understand that the destination is not that lucky is in the context. Want to see something that almost no one talks about? Two people are equally intelligent. They can be quite different because of with whom you live, what can you consume, what kind of conversation you have every day, how to sleep in, how to deal with stress and strain, how to spend free time. The fourth turning is, change your environment before you try to change you. Because it is the environment that pulls you in. If you want to be more disciplined, but to live in a place that I can distract you, you are going to suffer. If you want to get better at it, but has to live with the people they hope you never, you are going to be discouraged. The M's in here turn the movement. Select the environment that you move, don't you quit.
Turn 5 is a turn of love. You will return destination for romance by lineup for real. In the video, the original speech in the transformation of relationships, but he does so in the language of going to happen. Here, we're going to do something different. On the 5th turn is, love is not finding someone to complete, it is to choose someone that is traveling in the same direction. And it is much more powerful because it gets you out of the story and drops you into real-life situations. The questions that are changing everything. Such a person is a sum or a drain. You are compatible with and the only chemistry? You feel the greater than or less close to it. You can find peace or is an alert. The moon represents emotions. The danger is that when the emotion becomes the sail in his eyes. The solution to this is when the emotion becomes information. Face 6, face of money, changing luck for the system. Part of the wealth and money, it is always the most attractive in these videos. Because money is a necessity. It's a dream, it's safe, it's the freedom. But here's the truth. The more it lasts and the more freedom. Money, they rarely come from a moment of magic. The money has to come from a system. System is as follows. To learn what the market pays for, practice until you get good at, show that for the right people, repeat for a long time. The 6th face is this.
And this is for a beginner, a total of organize expenses, non-drama, make a reservation, even a little, learn a skill that is marketable, improve communication, create consistency. The M here, it is the way. Anyone who has a method that does not rely on luck. Face 7, in the face of identity you set in the past. This one is the most emotional. A lot of people that look and think about, do you think that I'm any different? Do you think that I'm a target? Do you think that I was one? In fact, what she wants to do is escape from the prison, the identity of the former. I'm too shy. I'm not good with people. I will always be a failure. I don't have the discipline. In the 7th turning on is, you are not your past. You are her next appointment. The crescent moon is perfect for that. It symbolizes growth. It does not come filled. She had seen it full. So instead of using a symbol as well as proof of what you have is a special one, use a symbol such as a reminder of what you cannot change every single day. In a little while. Face 8, face of healthcare. You should understand that energy is the currency of life. Without power, you won't perform at all. Without the power, you don't get started. Without the power, you will not create it. Without the power, you don't socialize. Without the power, you don't like the process. And the sad thing is that a lot of people think that power is all about motivation, when the power is biology plus routine plus my mind. With the 8th turn, it's deal of his energy, as well as their main active ingredient. Sleep, nutrition, movement, rest, and mental time away from the screens. The less you compare, the more presence. The moon reminds you of the series Stress and Recovery, the only one who forces to break, whose cyclic continues to evolve. The signal is to be you. Right now, I want you to stop and think about it for one thing. The reason these movies get as much as ever, why do they say to you, you're strange, you're the chosen one, do you have a target in the closet? The first and only real life is stranger and more beautiful than that. Sometimes it's the sign we're not on hand. The sign is up in the moment when you finally get tired of sabotage. The signal two's on the day you decide to don't give up on it again. On the sign, it's time that you chose to do the difficult thing, even if no one else saw. The hand, it's up to you myself. And here's a different idea to your video, which makes it all the more powerful. Instead of saying, the 8 things are going to happen to you, you say, 8 out of things that start to happen on the day that you have to wait for the target and begin to build towards it. It is more powerful. It's the most honest. And this is the most transformer. The mem that turned into a trap. The chosen one that you never finished. From an early age that a person has heard the same thing in different ways. It was said by some that she was smart, too good to be common. Others said that it was as natural talent.
Still others talked about the potential, sun, something different. And as soon as she started to do videos as symbols, signs, everything seemed to fall into place. In the letter to the right, the drawing on the right, the promise is sure. The idea was simple, and it is dangerous at the same time. I am destined to be a success. In the beginning, it seemed to be a motivator. It gave confidence and trust. I gave up hope. But little by little, something silent began to happen. She went on to overlook the basics, nor I studied in depth because it was believed that, to learn the truth, would come naturally to us. Did not practice with the consistency of it because I thought that too much effort was for those who were not born at the ready. I didn't accept the criticism because in the end I felt that the one who didn't understand the full potential of it. There was always a reason to know. When my time comes, everything will flow. I don't have to kill you now, but that's not my point. And the days went by. As for other people, the less talented, less confident, less of the chosen, were moving slowly, making mistakes, trying again. She stopped, waiting for the great leap forward, which never came.
The most evil of it is that from the outside, it looked like she was fine. He spoke beautiful. I had a good idea, didn't explain what she would do when it all started. But on the inside, the doubt began to grow. Because there comes a point in which the promise isn't enough. There comes a point in your speech, don't support most of the blank. There comes a point at which you look at life and realize that the time is passing by, and without asking for permission. And then came the shock of it all. It was not a failure, just wonderful. It was not a big drop. It was even more painful. She noticed that the people who started it have had it gone so much further. People who thought they were special, the people who were not on the destination, the people who just sat down, learned, practiced, and rehearsed. At that moment, a truth that is impossible to ignore appeared naked. To be the chosen one doesn't mean to be ready for it, and it is potential that I had to practice becomes a weight. It was here that the sheet had fallen. She knew that we believed to be a targeted had turned into a trap, and comfortable. An excuse is sophisticated, so you do not experience the discomfort of being bad at the beginning. A nice way to avoid the awkwardness of learning from scratch. Then she did something that, to yourself, it seemed a humiliation, but for the life was released. It became a beginner again. Agreed not to know it, accepted wrong, agreed to listen to it.
Agreed to train you when no one was looking. Agreed to start small. And for the first time, it changed the costume to the success at work, quiet in the construction and real. Nothing seemed to happen overnight. No face kind of magic. None of the praise it immediately. But something has changed profoundly. Each and every day in practice to generate real confidence. Each error is fixed in generating competence. Each of the small feed generated with respect first to her, then all of the others. Months later, she understood a lesson is that almost no one wants to hear. The world does not reward those who are special to you. The world rewards people who get good. And in that moment, she realized, there is no destination that is strong enough to override the preparation. With the success that she had been waiting for, don't come as a gift. It came as a result. The waxing moon and the courage of silence. She wasn't sure of anything at all. I did not know what decision to make. I didn't know if he was late too. Don't know if there is still enough time to fix the choices are gone. I didn't even know to explain what was wrong with me. But there is a sense of constant, quiet, appearing at the most unexpected moments. In the middle of the bathroom, before you go to bed, in the days that seemingly ordinary. A sense of simple, almost brutal honesty. I think I need to change. He was not enthusiastic. He was not excited.
It was not that kind of motivation as an explosive, that is, the person announcing the new plan. It was more like a tire deep to keep the same. And maybe that's why she didn't tell it to anyone. They have not announced the change, didn't post a strong statement. Is not promised to you now it would be different. Because of the promises, it had already been done before and broken. And every promise broken, he was giving a heavier weight. So she decided to turn that into a speech. He decided to transform it into action. You don't know where I was going. It has just begun. No plan is perfect, no warranty or guarantee, no round of applause. The first step was a small one, too small to impress anyone, but it's big enough to trouble the older version of it. And then there was a conversation, is a difficult one, in a conversation that has been delayed for months, maybe years. It was not elegant, it was not tight all the time, but it was true. And the truth is, even when you tremble, you open up space. Then, a new habit he entered into the place of the old one. Nothing is forever, nothing heroic. A simple repeatable can even on the bad days. After that, a cutoff. A limit is placed where it was too much. A slip of the tongue is dropped. A relationship is under scrutiny. A decision that didn't hurt, but it brought out the silence from the inside out. Every decision seemed to be insignificant when considered in isolation.
But taken together, they began to change to something that's invisible. She has started to sleep and that is different. Think different, to react differently. No more fighting, but you press on. Have you had days when she had a question? Have you had days when you thought about giving up? Have you had days where everything seemed to slow down too much to be worth it? But, unlike the other times, she didn't came back, because now it was not to prove anything to anyone, if it was a question of respect. The months passed by without any notice, no witnesses, without a studio audience, and then, slowly, something very rare happened. She began to confide in and of itself. Not because I had all the answers, but that's because I was becoming someone that you don't run out of questions. 6 months later, at a time when the banal, without music, without any ceremony, she looked down at his own hand. Along the same lines, the same designs, the same symbols, but the look was different, and she thought, almost smiling, funny, maybe a symbol that has never had a promise from you I would. Maybe it was just a reminder of what I am capable of delivering. At that moment, she realized something that changes everything. Change doesn't begin when you are sure. It begins when you keep, even if it becomes unbearable. And the symbols do not change lives, making repeated in turn. She still hadn't gotten to where he wanted to go, but for the first time, I knew exactly where we were going to get.
And already it was a turning point. What would you do right now? To date, this documentary is hard. Can you propose an easy thing and that it greatly enhances the retention because it is the mission is pro in a public park? The challenge of the 7 days of the map. Day 1, write down one thing you want to be in the truth, mind. Day 2, take one, share little, action. Day 3, you can set the direction for 3 months, the way. Day 4, change one thing in your environment, environment. 5, one conversation, honest, relationship. Day 6, set to one part of the money system. Day 7, take care of the power, sleep, go. In the end, you say, if you do this, it may be that your lives will not change, as in the movie, but it's going to change, just like in real life. And this is more rare than any of the symbols. So, if you've got the crescent moon and the letter M in the palm of beauty, you can use this as a reminder. Not in the universe, you owe something to which you can build a bigger story than the one you've lived up until now. Because at the end of the day, in the hand, it is not an agreement with the target. The hand is the tool for you. And the tools to change lives, you know when someone decides to use it.
This documentary, you have opened your mind. Leave your like and subscribe to the channel, because in the next video, we're going to talk about the other symbol, which is the internet. My favorite part was when everything changes, and I'm going to show you the truth behind all of this in the way of the most direct and the most transformative as possible. And now, tell me in the comments, have you ever encountered BM or the moon in your hand, and it made you feel? Before you go, do it with caution. Look at your hand. Don't search for the answer in the ready state, but as someone who realizes that you are still missing something. Now you tell me, what is the mark on your hand is covered in this video? This line is different. That the discrete signal. That little mark that has always been there, waiting for direction. Write in the comments, because that's all you are pointing to is now. It is not the detail. This is exactly what opens the next section here on the channel.